The Brain Truth with Allison Jordan. Prepare, renew, reclaim. And now your host, Allison Jordan.
Hey, hi Brain Job. Hi Brain Job. I got my little brain, but this is a stress thing. This show, woo, I can't even tell you now. I had a little bubble guts this time, but welcome to episode 2.3 of The Brain Truth with Allison Jordan on The Brain Truth Radio, which is an iHeart radio station now. And we're also on YouTube. You can find us at The Brain Truth on YouTube and on 107.3 VIP. And we're also on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, where else? I don't know. It's a whole list. Wherever you find your podcast, that's where we are. So welcome. I am so excited about today, y'all. Y'all don't even know. I think I put on deodorant and because it's this show, you guys are just going to completely enjoy the show this week because I have somebody very special today. I've been very, having hot flashes. I had a little headache. I had to have Dr. Ivey give me some peppermint, I had Minister June prophesize over my headache. It's going to go away. I had Dr. Getting sending me some medical stuff. So all my brain gang came through for me because today is so intensely amazing. So anyway, let's get right into our sponsors because I want to get all the way to the juicy stuff on the show. Okay, so let's talk about the Brain Truth sponsors. We have Swabs and Swirls, which of course is our COVID testing company. So again, if you guys want to stay safe, you can go to swabsandswirls@gmail.com. Our website is swabsandswirls.com. And so if you're looking to have a safe family gathering, a special events, please, we do free COVID, PCR, and rapid testing. NAMI South Suburbs, of course, as you know, I'm a board member. And of course, we have, when you go on our website, you can click on the NAMI South Suburbs logo, and that's where you'll find a lot of resources through NAMI, River Edge Hospital, Epic Arts and Entertainment, Patch Party Club. I'm waiting for you to send me those incredible patches to give away to our audience. And of course, the Brain Truth Wakana. If you want to learn more about your cannabinoid, go to the Brain Truth at wakana.com. And of course, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, Walsh Generational Wealth, and Nexa, the mortgage calculator. Those are our sponsors. And of course, we still need more sponsors. How y'all think I could pay for all of this? No, I'm kidding. You can always go to our Cash App at the money sign, The Brain Truth, or go to thebraintruth.com, and that's where you can find all the sponsor packages. We need sponsors, y'all. We need to keep doing what we're doing and get the word out. We're just so excited about what we're doing in this space, and we want to keep advancing. So please remember, if you guys want to call in, talk to our guests, or if you want to call in and just say hi or give us a comment, 708-545-2446. It's going across a little ticker right there. So please call in. Okay. So before we get to the rest of the show, I want to bring on, it's a new Brain Gang member. Hey, so if you guys don't know what the Brain Gang is, the Brain Gang are like, my antidote, my answer. It represents my healing journey. Because remember, I'm just a consumer. I'm like you, right? And so the Brain Gang are our dynamos. It's just that it's a gang. We go after helping people in all aspects of it, whether it's, mental illness, nutrition, meditation. We're just powerful. You can learn more about the Brain Gang at thebraintruth.com. But we have a new Brain Gang member we're going to bring in. And her name is, I want to say this, Talaya. I'm saying it Talaya, and she is a licensed clinical professional counselor and the owner of Inner Work Wellness in Chicago, Illinois. Talaya, I'm probably gonna get in trouble by saying your name wrong, has a passion for helping Black professionals navigate life's curveballs, transitions, race, identity issues in the workplace. Oh, wow. Or elsewhere. Silencing imposter syndrome. I don't know what that is, but I guess she's going to tell me. And helping to sort through relational issues like boundary setting. I had to work on that in my therapist last week. Self-esteem, breaking harmful generational relational patterns, and more. Come on in here, girl. Come on in here, Brain Gang. Hi, Brain Gang.
Hi, how are you?
Nice to meet you. Okay, did I
Yes,
say your name? Did I mess up your name? How did
you did, but that's
Oh,
okay.
I think you know what? And Stephanie said it to me, everybody, but I'm sorry. Blame it on here. Say
That's
your name.
okay. It's Talea.
Talea.
Talea,
I
yeah.
love it.
Thank
Talea.
you.
Welcome,
Thank you.
Talea. Okay, so tell me, what was that I read? What was that? It says something about silencing imposter syndrome. What's that?
Yeah, so that is when you can see this anywhere, but specifically with professionals when you're in a space and you're not sure if you're really qualified to be there. So it's
Okay.
just doubting yourself essentially.
Like being an imposter, right? Like
Mhm.
the word
Yeah, like
says.
who's gonna trust me with this information? Who's gonna trust me to do this?
Oh,
Who's gonna hire me?
okay.
Even people in high power positions, you see this kind of thing. So
Oh, okay. So tell us why you want to be a gang member. And did you what do we have some type of initiation? I don't know what happens behind the scenes. Welcome, girl. How come you want to be a brand gang member?
yes, I wanted to be a Brain Game member because I think that we need to bridge the gap between people experiencing things and then the professionals and those of us who can, do the helping and just make the information more accessible so that people don't have to struggle and go through things alone or kind of be feeling around in the dark. So I
Okay.
think that this is a great platform. So I'm excited to be here.
Yay. And tell me about Inner Work Wellness. That's your company or that's your practice?
Yes, that's my
Okay.
practice.
Okay.
Yeah, so thanks to the pandemic, totally virtual, but I'm really enjoying being able to see people all over Illinois now instead of just in an office, localized where people can access me. Anybody in Illinois can access those of us who are practicing virtually. So I started the company in 2019. And so now here I am in 2022, still going strong, working with the populations that you mentioned. And I'm just really.
And how is that going? Because I can tell you right now, it says Black professionals, we don't get help. That's why I'm here. That's why we're doing what we're doing. I mean, or do you find that it's because of the pandemic, or do you see a shift, or
I think it's the pandemic, but I think that things are becoming a bit less stigmatized now.
are
I
you
will say.
serious?
Yes, and I'm so happy. So happy for
I'm
us.
happy.
Yes.
So do you see more Black women, Black men, or a mixture? Because we did a series. I don't know if you've been watching the show, but we did Real Men Cry. We did a 3-part series, and we had some brothers on here like sharing some pretty heavy stuff, and we were kind of proud. Although one of them kind of like when we talked about toxic masculinity, he got toxic and masculine right in the interview. So we were like, whoa, we had to pivot real fast. So it's just challenging. So I'm glad that you're in that space though, and you're saying that it's cool. Like you're getting people.
It's getting better. Yep.
And you're saying
I
what?
don't know
Black
that.
women, Black men? Which one?
I would say still mostly women. I think we still
Okay.
have some work to do getting more men into therapy, but I do see a couple and I love when I see it. I'm like, oh, thank God you're here.
Yeah. So do you do cognitive behavioral? Do you know that EMDR? Do you do that?
I'm trained in EMDR.
Are you serious?
I am. Yeah.
I want to get a free. Can I get like 2 little sessions with you?
I got you.
See, I put you on blast. See, we got receipts now because I was starting the EMDR. I think it's brilliant, and I'm going to ask Sister Jenna about that. Like, what if she knows it? I don't know if she knows, but we could talk about it later. Because that's pretty profound. Because it
really
almost
is.
kind of mixes into the meditation type of vibration.
Absolutely, and it works quickly for the most part.
Well, I am so glad to meet you. Welcome aboard. I hope that I see you more coming on the show with us because we do call upon the Brain Gang to participate. So stick around, watch the show, and welcome to the Brain Truth. Yay! We're All right, see you later. You're going to come back at the end.
Okay.
Put on your white. All right, guys. If you guys want to learn more about being a Brain Gang member, go to thebraintruth.com. And if you want to connect with our friend Tolaya. Okay, I'm sorry. Click on her picture on the website at thebraintruth.com. Can I get a nickname like Tola Yaya? But anyway, welcome. All right, moving on. Now I want to get to the brain buzz. Well and Good. So, Well and Good is the market leader in wellness and everyday wellness products. They just released in their wellness trends for 2022, and at the top of its list is psychedelics being poised to change the course of mental health treatment. Although most people still associate hallucinogenic drugs with raves and parties, of course we do, they are showing significant promise in treating certain health conditions. Studies on psychedelics for treating mental health started in the 1950s, but were halted by President Nixon amid anti war movements and the hippie culture. It picked back and up in the 90s. Of course it did. And in 2021, Congresswoman Alexandra, oh, I know that, Cortex, the loud one, introduced an amendment. Yes, I love her, to promote research into psychedelics benefit, its medical benefits. It didn't pass, but it did show more people being open to the idea. Currently, ketamine, and I heard about the ketamine because Dr. Heather Pendergrass at the University of Chicago is trying to get me to do that treatment, which can be prescribed by a doctor, is the only psychedelic legally available to mental health patients not involved in clinical trials. Did you know that? What the research is showing is that many people who suffer from depression, anxiety, and PTSD have a sort of negative loop in their brain, says New Life founder Juan Pablo Capello. Ketamine does in other medicines, but unfortunately, many of which are not legal. They allow you to find new patterns of thinking and new ways to frame prior trauma and prior experiences. And then psilocybin, the psychoactive ingredient in psychedelic mushrooms, is another substance being considered as a mental health treatment. That's funny because somebody just told me, never mind, they tried a mushroom. Okay, along with the MDMA, more commonly known as Molly or ecstasy. Heard of that? As research continues, those involved in the field believe that psychedelic assisted psychotherapy will eventually become a legal, accessible, and mainstream form of self-care. You don't say. Okay, that was a lot. Dr. Geddes, you got to tell me, we got to talk offline about this. Wow. Okay, psychedelic drugs are coming back. So all you old hippies, be happy. It's just like now, marijuana is legal. So everything's just going back to the evolution. So back in the 70s, everybody back then in the day, everybody got it right. Okay, so before I close out the brain buzz, I do want to say, just take a moment because I know it shocked me as well as it shocked everybody else. I had the opportunity to meet Regina King many times. As you know, I work in the industry. And I just want to take just a moment of silence. And I also learned that another Hollywood great lost their son to suicide just today. But Regina King lost her 26-year-old son, Ian Alexander, 5 days, I think, right before his birthday. And he had, a few days before he decided this, had wrote something on Twitter about how social media wasn't healthy for him. He was reaching out, and as a mother of a son, we don't always get it right. I'm sorry, but to any mothers, not just of sons, but to any mothers, any parents, and that's why we do what we do. We want to talk about what to look for. We want to talk about being engaged and not being afraid to talk about mental illness. And I'm trying to normalize that conversation so that we don't feel ashamed. And if it's happening in Hollywood, she's one of the biggest actors in Hollywood. It's not exempt, mental illness, and that just showed it. So I just want to take just a brief moment of silence and remembrance and just a prayer for her and all mothers that are in this situation and could be struggling. Okay. All right, let's go into our disclaimer. The Brain Truth does not serve the purpose of providing medical treatment or therapy services, diagnosis, prevention, or cure for any physical, mental, or emotional issue, disease, or condition. As a member of our audience, you agree that the Brain Truth does not assume liability for any physical or mental disease, condition, or issue, or any other type of loss or damage due to any information shared on our broadcast. All right. So do we have like a drum roll or anything, anybody, or some kind of like intro music? Boom, because I am bringing on right now. Ooh, I'm getting hot, y'all. Woo. Okay. I'm bringing on my mentor, my teacher, my everything. Typically, you guys know I wear red every show, but tonight I decided to wear white. As definitely a humbling experience to have Sister Jenna here, and as a practicing Brahma Kumar, she can go in and talk about that. And we wear white as a symbol for that. So tonight's topic is to honor and talk about Dr. Sister Jenna and her new book right here that I'm going to have. You're going to look at it the whole time. But Dr. Sister Jenna, or Sister Dr. Jenna, is an acclaimed, trusted spiritual mentor, committed to bridging divides in societies and building relationships between global influencers. Sister Jenna is the founder and director of the Brahma Kumaris Meditation Museum, the host of the popular America Meditating radio show, and recipient of the President's Lifetime National Community Service Award. Sister Jenna is a member of the Evolutionary Leaders Circle and was selected by Empower a Billion Women 2020 as one of 100 most influential leaders in 2015. Sister Jenna is here to talk about her new book, Meditation, Intimate Experiences with the Divine Through Contemplative Practices. Everybody, Sister Jenna! Hi, Sister Jenna! Oh my God, I can't.
What am I going to do with you? What am I going to do with you?
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Everyone, you have absolutely no idea how deeply proud I am of Alika and the work that she's doing. And just the way she's showing up, I wish she didn't feel so excited to be with me because we're so close already. But I get it. I've been there and I get it. And thank you for all the infectious vibrations and energy you've been distributing in the show today. And Talea, she loves you. And we're going to figure.
See, you're good at saying name.
And we're going to try to figure your name out too. So, but welcome to the Brain Gang as well. Om Shanti, everyone. A very, very warm hello to each and every one of you out there in the Brain Truth Gang. And I can't wait for Allison and I to just get into it and have a wonderful heart-to-heart.
We're going to get into it. But before we get into it, because I read that book and I got some juicy stuff to say and talk about, but I just want to go back to how we met, okay?
Yeah.
Because I know Dr. Ivey, she's coming on later.
Yay.
But everybody knows back in June 27th of 2020, I, got this book deal. I was writing my book and, you can go to the debut show. But I went down and I went down. And so I was experiencing a lot of anxiety, depression, and, like anybody, I was trying everything. I mean, I would have tried eating a carrot with peanut butter standing upside down. Somebody told me to do it, right? And I was trying everything, watching everything. And I started watching Ayanna Van Sant had a morning wake up thing. And I was watching it. And then she introduced Dr. Ivey Hilton and the Sound Spa. And I went to that and I think I started inboxing Dr. Ivey like, your stuff messed up. Your sound like, like I know stuff like this. And she said she felt my vibration and she just chimed in with me and we connected so quickly. And I shared with her what I was going through and she recognized it. And it was to a point where I was calling her so much. She was like, look, you know what? This is above my pay grade. You need to go and log on to Sister Jenna and the spiritual vaccine. And
yeah,
I remember
that was when the pandemic started, right? Listen, and
this
yeah,
is in 2020,
yeah,
and so that was the spiritual vaccine, and I tuned in, and I promise you, when I first watched you, I looked at you, and it was as if you were looking right at me,
like I am now.
At me. I'm sorry, and it was just like this power came over me, like she's looking at me, she sees me. And the passion that you have for the world when you speak, it just emanates right through the screen, right? And I wrote you this letter on May 11, 2020. And I said, I'm now desiring a path of mental clarity and spiritual balance. I want to be healthy. I want to be free from fear and worry. And I just want to embody love and peace every day in an authentic way. I believe that I can be transformed into the person I was supposed to be. I am just vulnerable. And I'm finally honest with myself that I need guidance. But the panic attacks got worse. And I ended up going into the hospital. When I came out, you had written me back. while I was in the hospital, and I read that. I'm not going to share it now because it was this letter you wrote to me, but it was pretty much, "You're going to make it."
Yeah,
And
and
at that
you
time,
are. Yeah.
I didn't know. And so for that, I thank you. I thank you for all your teachings, your direction, your energy, your vibration. It has been so powerful for me in this journey.
Well, let me say thank you too, because one of the benefits of being a teacher or an instrument is when definitely the teacher appears and the student shows up and really begins to do the work. It's so valuable. And it speaks loudly in terms of the work, not only of the teacher, but also of the student. And I look at where you are today, and I'm just really inspired by where you're at. And so thank you for having me on your program and to be talking about our new book. And everyone out there, haven't you been through those times when you just didn't feel like you could even get out of the bed, and
Woo.
you didn't know that that one thought would lead you down the rabbit hole that could last for a day, a week, 5 weeks, 6 months, 2 years, 5 years, where it becomes a pattern. And so what Allison and I went through was a real process of breaking the cycle of that one thought that has built such a momentum. It's like an avalanche,
Yes.
where, yeah, it's just one little ball and it just keeps rolling and picking up more stuff until it gets to the bottom. And she's crashed that out. She's done. And
Well,
now she's, what?
now I'm not all the way because I still, when I see you, I'll be like, but what I can tell you is the traffic control, and we can talk about it because you talked about it in the book. But the traffic control was what was super, super transformational, and it still comes on my phone now. And
Yeah.
every hour we get a chance to check in. And that was one of the most profound things I learned. And the other thing was when you taught us in the Raj Yoga class how to go and spend those moments with God, brushing our teeth and doing
Yeah.
something that's a habit, and then it becomes a habit because we think prayer and meditation is just, but it's every day and moving around. And that's what I really want to, I want to get into this book. I want to keep talking, but this book is so juicy. I love this book. I love it. I love it. I love it. Why do I love it? First of all, the fact that they had you do the opening, and see, I know Sister Jenna and her cadence and her energy, how she talks. So when I was reading the opening, I was reading it in your voice, right? And I really want everybody to go get this book, like all the Brain Gang. You have to buy it because I want to see if when you read this book, do you feel the vibration of your words when you're setting the tone? And I believe that everybody will, because I felt such pure intention in the words. And when you talked about, and this is where it got real doozy-ish, when you talked about here understanding the energy of God as an unlimited consciousness of love, peace, purity, and wisdom, doesn't require a religious context, because we got some pastors here, or even a belief system. It requires only an open mind and the bravery to allow your mind to shift through concepts that may be ineffable. I don't know how to read today. This deeper and more accepting experience of the divine would eradicate much of the infighting amongst even people of faith. What? Tell me. Because when I started this, of course, in my white and Om Shanti, I got gone off on by a pastor on Facebook that I've known my whole life. And I'm like, bruh, he inboxed me like, how dare you? And this and that. And it was just so horrible to go back and forth. I stopped for a minute. I go, but isn't this all God and love? So explain to
Yeah.
me that. And also about the part where you said Christianity, that I am referring to religious God in a one that belongs to Hinduism, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, and others. We cannot squeeze God into a religion. He
Right.
is much too fat for that.
Yeah, he is
Break
bigger
that
than that.
down. Because people like, what's she
Well,
talking about?
well, let
Break
me
it
put it in context, everyone out there. First, my father was Indian, Hindu, and my mother was Roman Catholic, African. And I'd like you to kind of come from my portal of being raised looking at a father practicing rituals in the Hindu tradition and a mother going to church praying to Jesus and reading her Bible, and somehow seeing harmony in both different point of views, and realizing that God was an interpretation, but that was when I was a child, that you could choose what's the best way and language and tribe that you could feel very resonance with. And so that was my beginning. So just to give you an idea, I saw more than one interpretations of God. So that gave me a broader perspective of acceptance and respect of many traditions. So that's one thing to consider. The second thing is, when I shared that part in the book, I've been friends with so many people throughout the decades, and they've been pretty high up in many top branches of religion. And when we talk and have dinner and work on projects together, we're not competing with each other's religion. We're just bringing whatever we have attained in our relationship with God with each other. And I don't see a problem or a division or who's better and who is worse. And so I think that if we were to consider ourselves to be souls and not the body, we will tap into more of the virtues and the values that's innate within. And so if I'm Christian and you're Jewish, or if I'm Hindu and you're Muslim, that's something that I just honor and respect. Historically, there's a narrative that comes with your tradition, and some of it is positive and some of it isn't. But which religion doesn't have something to say about themselves? In other words, something is good and something is not so good. So I think when we look at the whole notion of deepening our faith and our traditions, for your pastor who attacked you because you were evolving and changing, it's okay. That's where he is at the moment, and I think pastors and everything are going to change the way they've preached and served the sheep. You know, when the candle industry was the means of light in our culture and in our world, when electricity was invented, that candle industry knew it was going to go down.
Right.
Okay, so I think what's happening, the old way of studying God or relating to God, it's changing.
Yes.
It doesn't mean we're pushing him out. I actually think we're pushing God in more. And I think any of us that are struggling, because you know my mother who has dementia and she's living with me, but also someone who was orphaned at 7, abused, battered, abandoned, you name it. I've been raised with her going through depression and a lot of trauma. But I've seen when she went into meditation, Allison, and she would make this connection with the divine from being soul conscious, I've seen how much she has changed and have survived all the trauma that she's been through. So I would suggest evolve your interpretation of yourself first, and then evolve your interpretation of God, and you'll feel some wonder.
Yes. And what I like about the book is that they're short stories, everybody, of all walks of life. Pastors, Hindu, any religion, rich, poor, you know, and it was just enlightening to read what I call, well, I don't want to say like when you get that first hit of crack. I'm sorry. But it was like that first hit of crack. You know, it was that first experience of that divine connection. And I had one of those after, I don't know, I may have shared it. I probably did in one of the classes where I felt my body like levitating, and I felt this overwhelming, like sprinkling of love. It's like I was enveloped in something. It's almost like when somebody scratches a mosquito bite and it itches really bad and you're like, oh, and it was just the love that I felt like no other. And it scared me. I had to slap myself back to, I was like, what the heck? Okay, why? You know, and because it was so new and powerful. And that was the book. The book it says that, which was really deep, and I made some copies just because I read some of this stuff twice and three times and just trying to sit there. But what I didn't find, Sister Jenna, is your first time. What was that first time? Like, can you tell us your journey into that first time that you felt that true understanding?
Yeah, it's in the book actually at the end part, but
But it kind of,
it was when I was at the laundromat. It
yep.
was God at the laundromat, that chapter, when I was with my mom and I felt that I was transported consciously out of the awareness of my surrounding, and I was placed in this kind of a subtle realm where there was a council of souls who were just, the feeling after I matured and I learned it was that they were just checking on me to see where I was, who I was with, and if I was okay. So that was my first encounter,
So
and
that okay, so that was a first. I read
that
the
was my
laundry map. I
first.
thought something had happened younger or
Yeah, that
something
was when I was
spiritual, the
about in, no,
nightclubs and okay.
oh no, that was different. So that was the opening, and
Okay.
it wasn't until I matured I began to realize, oh, that was the mystical experience that started at 4. Yeah, yeah.
And so do you
But
believe that that's what it is? That's what's going to take? Because I read, like Reverend Sylvia Sumter,
Sumter,
hers was like, okay, so we know she's a pastor, but she had a divine experience that when she said she saw Jesus or Siri Ama Bhagavan, did I say that correct? So how can you, for anybody who's a pastor, and we have a prophetess June and watching, explain, is that possible?
very much. God doesn't care what religious practice you are attached to. Every single one of us, 7.5 billion of us, will feel the tapping of God's love on our hearts, inside of our consciousness. The issue is, will you pause long enough to begin a relationship with the divine
Yes.
and allow that relationship to enhance and empower you and make you into a better version? I use this example a lot. Before your mystical experience or before your awakening, it's like you're only living in the basement of your consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
But in the same building, go up to the penthouse and then take a look at the view. You'll have a completely different interpretation. So with meditation, contemplation, reflection, prayer, whatever it is, the more you move away from your patterns of thinking, thoughts of I'm not good enough, thoughts of I'm only black, I'm only Indian, I'm only Jewish, thoughts of I'm only a doctor, I'm a radio host, I'm Jamaican, I'm American, I'm Indian. Yes, I am. But that's such a small percentage of who I really am in terms of my capacity as a soul. Thich Nhat Hanh just passed away a few days ago, and he was a beautiful Vietnam Buddhist monk. And as myself and Reverend Sylvia Sumter yesterday viewed his funeral ceremony, there was such a peace in his death. There was such a silence in his death. And what that reminded me of is the way that you and I need to keep living so that we can bring more harmony and power and peace to the world and just enjoy this thing called life. So here's my thought. Get out of the basement.
Yes.
Look at your life from the penthouse. And how that looks is when you're about to scream at somebody, just step back for a little bit, go up and look down and ask God, how do you want me to handle it? And He'll consistently come to you and say, first, cultivate good wishes and pure feelings in your heart, then speak to them.
And so what is the hope for this book? What is the hope for this book? I know what it did for me. But what
I
do
think Kathy Hughes, who's the founder and mega African American leader of Urban One,
Yes.
she said that on every page in her endorsement, and every page, there's something divine.
Yes.
So I think what I'd like from the book is just for souls to feel safe in their connection to Source, safe for them to feel connection to their silence. Sometimes we're very afraid of silence because a lot of debris comes to the surface. But if we understand that the debris is simply moving out of the way, so the still water and the beauty and the power of the soul can be evident, then we will love silence more and more. So I think we want to give each other permission for embracing the mystical and the divine that's within you.
Yes.
And I think it's time, don't
It's
you?
time. And I think when I read the book, it just, I don't know, it was, I wasn't expecting it, first of all. I'm glad that you put in there the different types of meditation, which we can talk about and all that.
Right.
But I was not expecting all these profound people to tell us these divine, intimate moments they shared with their
Yeah.
connection. And for me, that humbling and reminding, and that's why, when I talk about my journey of healing, it was a combination. And you used the word antidote in the book, and it just gave me chills, because that's what I call my healing. It was a combination of therapy and prayer and meditation. And I'm sitting here right now telling people, like, I am not on any antidepressants. I am not even on heart medication anymore. They did an echocardiogram and they couldn't even find my mitral valve prolapse that I've had most of my life. And I'm not kidding. In the first few days without medication, I felt like I needed a crutch. It's like somebody saying, you can walk, you can walk. And then that's when I had to go and meditate again and go, well, I already have something that's helping me. And that's what I felt like. We forget that and you said it in a Raj yoga class, that the nobility, like we have the noble right and power to connect with the divine. Like, yeah, I
Yeah.
want to get Jay-Z's picture. Yeah, I want to meet Beyonce. But God dang it, I have the right to connect with the one, the true, the ultimate. And that for
Yeah.
all of us should give us such royalty. And, that's what I believe. And that's what you taught me. And that's why I enjoyed the book and I enjoy your teachings, especially, the Raj Yoga, which I want you to talk about the Raj Yoga. I want you to talk about the different types of meditation.
Sure. So, everyone, if you're ever interested in meditation, one of the forms of meditation that Allison and I practice is called Raja Yoga Meditation, that's offered by the Brahma Kumaris. So we have hundreds of classes online now. If you just Google Brahma Kumaris online meditations, the classes will come up with whatever country or state you're located in, because we have 4,000 centers in 110 countries.
Yeah.
But Raj Yoga is about, it helps to guide you into paying attention to the power of your thinking. So first it will guide you into turning your attention to the world behind your eyes, which is an invisible world, but it's your invisible world that's in charge of your visible world. And so instead of feeding so much from the world of your five senses, Raj Yoga trains you how to come more from the invisible world behind your eyes, where all of your potential and your capacity is stored but wants to be used. But in order to sustain that capacity and increase that capacity, a connection with the Supreme Source is needed. So you call him God, Baba, Allah, Jehovah, Khuda, Lord, Master, Jesus, whatever it might be, but an intimate, deep link. When you've gone through some of your hardest moments, who do you turn to? The one above.
That's right.
So in Raj Yoga it says, don't come to me only when it's hard moments. Just come to me as your mother, your father,
Yes.
your teacher, your friend, your companion. And then the third aspect of Raj Yoga meditation, which is really essential, is to guide us in understanding the law of cause and effect. In Hinduism, we call it karma philosophy. And it basically means you and I are going through stuff because of choices we have made. And if those choices had the intention of algae, which is an acronym that I use all the time.
Yes. And we have
A
to
for
discipline
anger.
ourselves.
Okay, Allison, what does algae stand for
Anger,
now?
lust, greed, ego, and attachment.
Very good, girl. So
I had to practice that for a year.
if there's anger, lust, greed, attachment, or ego in the intention or the motive in my making a decision, it will disturb my original nature of peace as a soul.
Yes.
If I've done it for 5 weeks, 10 weeks, 6 months, one whole lifetime, another lifetime, whatever, that energy builds up in us. So then that energy is creating a lot of drama in our lives, so to speak. So
Right.
when you meditate, you soften that vibration and move it out of the way so that there's more clarity, like Allison was saying, and understanding and fortitude and peace and power and determination. Who doesn't want that in their lives now as we move forward out of this pandemic or whatever this is we're in?
And in the book, it will outline. I don't want to give everything because y'all got to buy the book, but it does list all the different meditations, mantra, guided meditation, all in the back. And then it goes on to talk about sort of the smart practices, because I know we had to wake up at 5:30 for the Merle. Tell us why I did it. I don't know, Santosh, he could tell you when I was on there, right? So tell us why we wake up so early and why is that important?
So, remember I used to own 2 popping nightclubs back in
Right.
the day.
You're already
So
up.
I used to go to bed at 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and I wouldn't wake up until noon. So when the awakening occurred, when my consciousness shift, when you realize something that you didn't know before, your whole inner world changes in the way you use these eyes and the way you use your 5 senses. So when my awakening occurred and I just started to see me differently, God differently,
Yes.
humanity differently, it was natural for me to want to step up and be more in service to the greater cause, which means I was stepping back from the attachment to I, me, and mine, which limits my point of view in every decision that I make. So it's not about getting up early and doing this. It's that when your consciousness changes, then it's natural that the actions change. So waking up early in the morning is where you set the tone for your whole day between you, the soul, and God, can now begin to prepare your day with depth, with power, with sincerity, with truth. And then when your whole day goes with the presence of God's company, can anything shake your kingdom inside? It
No.
can't. So
No.
my basic daily routine is in the morning, okay, I get up a little bit early, maybe about 4. Then there's a regular class at 6 o'clock. And the reason why Allison said 5:30, she's 1 hour behind. And that's why she has to do it a little bit earlier. But the early morning hour is when it's your breakfast for the soul,
Yes. Oh, I love
right?
that.
And
Right.
that's when you fill up with what's needed for the day, but also for the rest of your life. But
Yes.
there's something that you mentioned that you always liked a lot that we do is called traffic control, where we
Yes.
pause every hour on the hour for just a minute to remember I am Om Shanti, I am a peaceful soul. I'm beautiful, I'm powerful, I'm pure, I can make the impossible possible. Whatever's your thought, you make it consistent, you religiously do it every hour and hour. And I guarantee by the end of the day, you're going to feel like a much more masterful person. And that's what Raj Yoga is, to develop self-mastery.
And it was the most powerful experience. And so we want to get into meditation and the brain. And that's why I really want to first bring on into the conversation. Of course, I got to bring in Dr. Ivey Hilton first now, because this is the reason for the season. Hi, doctor. Is she there? She was having technical stuff. Can you hear us,
Hi,
Dr. Ivey?
Ivy.
Unmute yourself.
Yes, I can.
Hi. You're
Hello,
not
and I have to
moving.
apologize that some kind of way,
Oh, you're frozen.
so something's
Oh,
going on here. I don't know
it's
why.
okay. Well, hi, Ivy.
Hi, Dr.
So good
Ivy.
to see
This
you.
is this
It's
is this is
wonderful to
her.
be
This is the one who
seen.
said she had to elevate me to Dr. Jen. Oh, I don't know if elevate or I was just getting on your nerves. I don't know which one was it. But
No,
she was
not at
like, okay,
all.
you need to know. But I just want to thank you. I mean, just to sit here right now, guys, you don't understand. Whoever's watching, I see you, Rhonda, Om Shanti. I see everybody chiming in. Just put this in perspective, everybody. You are not doing well in life. You are hurting. you're depressed, you have anxiety, you don't know what to do, right? There are people in the world that is anointed and appointed by God. And I wrote down something where I had said, thank you, God, for putting me through what you put me through. Because if I didn't go through what I went through, I wouldn't have desired so much healing. And that healing wouldn't have led me to you, Dr. Ivy. And that desire for you to want me to be healed because of your walk wouldn't have led me to Sister Jenna. And I surely wouldn't be sitting here right now in this space helping other people and having the two of you on my platform. That's what's possible. And it's beautiful. And I am so humbled because I know for sure that God is at work.
That's where we always say God is good every time.
And I love you so much, Dr. Ivy. You don't know. You
Well,
know.
I feel you very deeply, my love. And I knew that where you were, Sister Jenna understood it in a way that would help to soften that experience that you were going through there in a way that gives you that insight. And she also has a way to help us to open our minds and our hearts to the possibility of something new,
Yes.
something different. And see where we are in my with what things are, the shift, the normative shift that is going on in the world. You better be ready and open to new and different ways to access the divine.
That's right.
Because religion is separating the world from peace, as far as I'm concerned. Because it's almost like politics. If you're not in my politics, then you're not right. And I believe that we're in a place and time where we had better get in touch with the silence so that we can hear and truly understand who we are and how to connect with the divine, because that's the only answer.
Yes. And that's, Om Shanti. Everybody, can you see the screen, Sister Jenna?
I
And everyone
can.
talking? Um,
Yes, I can.
I don't know how else to say it because when that person inboxed me and they were so nasty about, I think it's important that this isn't a bash on, it's not even about religion. It wasn't religion. It wasn't a place to even have that discussion. It was, by golly, congratulations, you're healed. How are you healed? And when I talk about my antidote, it was a combination. My mom's a pastor. I'm Christian. I went to a therapist. I took medication. I'm off of it. But if we don't understand that I can't even understand if somebody says meditate, well, I can't even meditate until I can get out the bed and take a shower.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
who's going to work on that? And that's
So,
where,
so even when the pastor, basically was trying to knock you down or put you in another direction, it was just where he is, and there was nothing
yeah,
wrong with that.
we're looking back now in the place I am, but then it was
Right.
like, how
It's
dare
it's
you?
it's
You know
hard.
what?
It's hard. I
Yeah.
It
get
can
that.
be
I get that.
disruptive to your spirit. And this is why I say if we could just do what we learn in
Mm,
the in Raja Yoga, is that who am I?
yes.
Yeah.
And separate ourselves from really believing that there's power behind the pastorship,
Mm,
that there's power behind the idea that, like she said, I'm a teacher, I'm a preacher, I'm a whatever it is that we are. If we could just figure out how to step outside of that, it's
yes.
so much wisdom there to be found, but you have to be willing to be open to it. And as a psychotherapist for 40 years, I've heard a lot of
You were 2 years
stories.
old when you started? Okay.
Yes, I was just two. But to hear the trauma that we all go through, and by the time we unpack it, it all settles into the center of somebody's religious beliefs.
Yeah, you guys call in 708-545-2446. I know we've got some comments over here. Rhonda says religion caused so much inner turmoil. You can't be your true self to heal.
Mm.
Well, one thing is the religion, but then the other thing as well, it's the interpretation that we carry while we're representing our religion.
Yeah.
And I think that's what sometimes gives such a bad rap. And for people to believe in it and move along in their religions as a tribe and think that, to die to die killing somebody for something that is connected to God will take you to heaven. I'm not quite sure who started up that belief system. To give sorrow to any human being is sinful. But
Wow.
a lot of people are not aware to take sorrow from any human being is also a sin.
Mm.
And so some people say, I don't give sorrow, but I just don't know how to take sorrow. You will not be able to take sorrow if somehow you haven't given it.
Mm.
And so when we practice the meditation and spirituality at a much deeper level, and one of the things that I know Dr. Ivey and I are really strong in is the empowerment of not just African Americans as us as a culture and people, but we're so rich in the spirit. There is so much richness and power in the spirit of a soul in an African American body. It's no joke. And I think that if we can just use the silence to bypass the generations of trauma until the soul reaches the diamond of divinity and power and purity,
Yes.
man, you'll see some rising up like you would not ever believe. And it would make the world such a better place.
Such a better place.
Such a
And
better place.
it sounds so woo. And that was one of the like this is like, I'm sorry, I'm just being real. Because it's like, what's happening to you, Allison? What's going on? And I would talk to people in this vibration, and it's just healing. It's just my connection. This is what the connection to God looks like. And then I always tell people, test me and see. Do what you did to me 10 years ago and watch.
No, no,
Nothing's gonna happen.
cancel that. Cancel. No, we don't
Yeah,
want
'cause
them to do that.
I was at my studio in the leasing office, towed my car. I was there for like literally a few minutes doing, I think Sister Jenna, you might remember I was doing the blanket for Burgers for Blanket, and they towed my car while I was, and then the other girl said, oh, they done mess with the wrong person today. And I went, ooh. Oh, me? Oh, no, it's fine. I'll just go pay for it and get it out of the. That's 200 something. I can't stress on that. I'm here to give blankets.
But you see, you changed. You changed,
Yeah.
Allison. You moved from the basement to penthouse when you handled that. So the question arises, how much power are you losing every time you feed into your algae? It's fine if you want to empower algae, but algae will not last. But right now, there is a time that we seek survival to put bread on the table and food, shelter, and clothing and all that. But now the survival that we need is of inner power. For you to be able to cope with all the karmic stuff that's going to show up in your life, for the relationship, for the infidelity, for the job insecurity, for the children, for maybe being too rich that even your own people don't want to help or talk to you anymore because they think you've gone into another place, and you're saying, come with me, come with me. So all of that negativity and stuff, if we can move that out of the way we see ourselves and each other, we will create a golden age of future. And I am so completely clear about that.
And you say things, doesn't she say things, Dr. Ivy, with such assurance? I remember when I was at my Lord's like, you're leaving me. And then I couldn't pack the bag. Because remember when my husband left me and I couldn't pack, and so it's okay. You're going to pack it. No, I'm not. It's okay. Like, I need you to come over here and get a bag. We have this sense of urgency. But Sister Jenna is a way of keeping the balance in here. And it emanates into you where it actually, you don't have to do all the screaming, calm down, da 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 da. It's just there.
It's just
right?
there.
It's
Yes.
just there.
And she
Right.
inspires that in us. I just finished a new CD project that I will be sharing with you soon.
Oh, I
And
can't wait.
One of the things that came out, and I was listening to it because I would go in the studio and mostly I would channel the meditations or the messages. And something that came through, it said, use your soul language of the silence to guide your life.
Mm.
And
That's
it's
so
like,
powerful,
wow.
Ivy. That's
I was
exactly what
like,
Baba
wow,
wants.
I said that? Oh, wow.
Dr. Ivy went to India with me about 2 years ago. And she was on this stage with like
Mm.
10,000 Indians in front of her. And she was this king, she walked out with this beautiful outfit.
Of
And
course.
would you believe Dr. Ivy did this beautiful song of I am light and good
Mm.
wishes and pure feelings in each other in Hindi. And let me tell you, getting Indians
Wow.
to just like, oh my God, to loud off of you, it's not easy if you don't speak their language or look like them.
Right.
But when Sister was done, the whole place came down for her.
Oh,
And so
I can
I
imagine.
think she stepped in. She
Yeah.
realized, oh my God, all these, people in front of me, 10,000, all they're looking all
Right.
brown and Indian,
Right.
Apaches. But she just decided, let me pull the power from inside of my spirit, which is
Yes.
why I'm here.
Mm.
And she did good.
I,
It was
I'm,
amazing.
and
I
again,
felt like a Hollywood star. I stepped
you are a
outside and
Hollywood
people wanted to
star. What do you mean?
take, they
You
wanted to say I
were.
was a Bollywood star.
Let
That's
me see
where
that
Bollywood
question.
is.
We've got a couple of questions, I think, and then we're going to bring in Dr. Gettings. But Rhonda is talking to us. I apologize. I see you. It's not popping up on the screen, but I sometimes fail in my high vibrations because my environment brings a lot of inner turmoil. 1 minute it's okay, but becomes domestic. Sister Jenna? Ooh.
Welcome to the club, Rhonda. We're all with you. We go through it too. So the question is, what I've noticed for myself dealing with my mother with dementia, and Dr. Ivy and everybody knows I've been very open with how that has been a strain. So when you fall short, for me, what I've noticed is that in my mind, there's a thought that's very strong that says, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
And just because I'm not present with what is, I find there's a whole bunch of turmoil that goes inside of me. So now what I do, I go inside of the soul, I say Om Shanti. I go to God, the ocean of love and the ocean of peace. And then I come down and I say, I'm going to accept this is what it is, but I have to change this because this isn't the vibration I want around me all the time. And I think once you speak to yourself with that level of conviction and truth, then your spirit will come to your aid. God will definitely come to your aid, but God will send other children to come to your aid,
Mm.
Mm.
and things will change.
Rhonda, you got that.
Allison, Allison, I have to add this to this. Sister
Yes,
Jenna,
ma'am.
oh, she's such a jewel and a depth of knowledge and wisdom. And something that she said to me that I'd like to share here, she sent it to me.
Please.
It said, process life for what it is and not for what you think it should be.
Mm. And we missed the
And
last thing.
doing that, it just eliminates that whole problem
But
of
you,
trying to
Yeah.
cope.
you had to go.
It is
And
what
then
it is.
when you repeat what Sister Jenna said, because she says so many things, she leaves us with so many nuggets. Just as sometimes Sister Jenna goes, "Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I say. That's what I do. That's what I
But
do."
guys, it's
It's just
really,
like
hey, listen, one of the things,
normalness is our life.
no, but one of the things you'll recognize, and I think, because Brain Truth is about mental health and it's about the fact that we're dealing with all of our mental opportunities. I don't call it mental illness, I call it a mental opportunity.
I
Is
like
that,
that.
yeah, that's what it is. It's a mental opportunity to
But
help us.
hold that right there, because bring in the game. Bring in Dr. Gettings, because we're switching to the mental health, and I got to get Dr. Gettings in the room. Where is Dr.
Hi,
There he
Dr.
is. So
Gettings.
you wore your
Hi,
white doctor
everyone.
jacket? Is that the white doctor jacket? Oh, that's just white.
No, this is
Oh,
just.
I was gonna say you said wear white, but you just gonna come in your jacket, honey. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Anyway, this is Dr. Gettings. I don't know if you watched the show at all. I mean, of course you do, Sister Jenna. So you know Dr. Gettings. She's so excited. I know you were back there like, when am I gonna see? I gotta meet Dr. I need Sister Jenna. So
Hi, Dr. Gettings.
Hi, Sister
your
Jenna.
turn. Go in there.
You guys. Hi, Dr. Ivy. I'm so happy.
Hello there, my love.
Yes.
All right, it's
listening
you.
to everything.
We're talking brain now. So go on in there, Dr. Gettings. Get in there.
Well, let me just pull some of the things that I've heard thus far tonight, right?
Well, she was getting ready. Let Sister Jenna finish what she was saying about the brain, and then you scoop on in there.
Okay.
Okay, well, let me see if I can remember.
Oh,
But,
God.
but in essence, the soul resides in the brain, right by the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland. It's so invisible, it's so subtle. But because it's carrying the recordings of all the emotions and the experiences, it sends those signals to the brain and the way the brain decides to chemically function at times. So if we could somehow transform that pattern, that's the trick of the mental opportunity here. Can you somehow just get me to change the way I'm thinking about myself? It's sort of like me struggling to get up and exercise. I know I should do it. I know I must do it. And I know one day I will, but I ain't right now. And it's just, it's
You're the only person I know that can wake up and do a whole bunch of stuff in your day and get
it's
it knocked
just
out.
so painful. So it's just one of the things, Dr. Gettings, which I'd like to ask you too, is there anything out there right now that can somehow help? And it's all of us. I don't think I need to reach a critical part of mental opportunity in order for me to make a change. I think when I get frustrated, angry, disappointed, or if I expect something from someone because they're not the way that I am, it's a form of a mental opportunity. You know, and I feel that if we recognize mental opportunity beginning from just me getting angry with my loved ones because they didn't put the toilet seat down or they slammed the door, that I need to start from there to change the way I'm thinking or seeing myself. And I'm just curious, is there anything out there that you know of that can help patients or all of us to just start from that interior work of just changing the thought pattern?
Yes, I mean, absolutely. I think the one thing that we have to recognize whenever we're experiencing what you're describing, or what I'm perceiving is what you're describing as experiencing emotion. So when you're in that state of anger or jealousy or rage, all of those emotions that we may label as negative, and how you describe that process of going to the penthouse. I think from the psychiatric terminology, what we encourage individuals to do is remember that a lot of times our thoughts and how we're perceiving a situation determines how we feel in that moment. But I think the similarity between the two explanations is that you have to pause before anything. You really need to take a moment to self-reflect. I think in the specialty of psychology or psychiatry, the term that we use a lot as it relates to meditative practices is mindfulness. So staying in that moment, being able to self-reflect and identify what we call cognitive distortions, which oftentimes are repetitive ways of thinking that are a byproduct of our belief systems, right? You know, you put the toilet seat down, you didn't put the toilet seat down because you don't respect me, right? That could be a belief that comes right after that. But taking a step back, is that really what happened? Did the person really deliberately do something to hurt you? Let's kind of unpack why we're perceiving it in that way and put it in its rightful place. So mindfulness is different. Mindfulness is more encouraging individuals to live in the moment, to not become so unraveled by worrying about what's to come, or so bogged down by negativity and memories and things that have happened to us, But when talking about how to respond in a way that's healthy and not giving in to those unhealthy emotional states, I think we always have to take a step back and look at what are we thinking at that time? What's feeding this emotion right now as far as our perception? And a lot of that comes from the basics of just cognitive behavioral therapy, which we use a lot to help individuals be more introspective and change their behavior and reactions.
Beautiful.
Wow.
You know, yeah, I think it's so beautiful. My mother has been a great example for me to work with on a day-to-day basis. And I have a funny thing to tell you. I've been telling her, okay, just say this. I'm healthy, I'm pure, I'm powerful, I'm beautiful, I'm wise.
Yeah.
Would you believe that sweet angel was like, okay, what you want me to say? I'm in pain and I'm beautiful. And I go, I didn't even say anything about being in pain. I said, no, this is how ingrained this thing of, oh, I'm in so much pain, I'm going through this. And I see how I got to keep pushing it in her. No, Sister Gita, remind yourself, I am healthy, I'm powerful, I'm pure, I'm wise, I'm healthy.
Wait a minute, because you had wrote something where she's feeding the pictures. I was just like,
Dr. Gettings. So she goes around feeding all the pictures in the house. And I said,
right.
why are you doing that? You can't feed a picture. It's not like that. And we have a daily ritual that everything we cook, we offer to God at least once for the day. So we have a very nice meditation room. So we take out some of that food, offer it to God, and then we distribute it. So would you believe my mother turns back at me and says, well, I might be feeding the pictures, but you feed picture to that man every day. And it was like, she was so clear in her head. I don't know what you were.
That was clarity in that moment.
In that moment. Yes.
You know, my mom always jokes that my dad, who of course everyone knows has dementia, that he's just on vacation. Like we always say when we're coming in, they go, oh, your family's here. And he goes, oh, who, what? And we leave the, okay, anyway, they go, I'm going to sleep. You know, because I think
I really think that this whole conversation around dementia, hopefully we'll be able to do a show around that specifically, but it certainly is relative to brain wave functioning. Absolutely. And to me, the work that I had started doing years ago, and now it's all I do, is what Sister Jenna was saying, is that we are intentionally creating new neural pathways so that we can create a different way of thought, a different way of believing, and a different way of behaving. And this is one of the things that I do. I call it sonic mind streaming, where you just put on your earbuds and you allow certain frequencies to flow into the earwaves with new ideas, new thoughts, new words that you can replace those negative words with. So I say, release the fear, release the negativity, and replace it instead with thoughts that strengthen you. Whether you believe it or not, you have to create that belief out of your soul that I know I must feel this way. I must believe this. So let me shift and change. And every day we have to do it. You have to do it every day. That's why I love, what Sister Jenna is offering here, because to find that peace in the silence, guess what? You don't even have to think of what to do. It will come to you.
It will come.
Well,
Let's
the
bring in
addiction is
Emily.
so strong.
Emily, come on in. And any brain gang, I don't know who's backstage. So you guys, hi, Emily. Because I do have this question. What is happening to the brain when you're meditating? Like, is there
there's a lot of things happening in your brain when there's and
what is happening to your spirit and the brain? I guess that's my whole thing. Bring that all together.
Well, I can speak to physiologically, chemically, right? What we've seen from a neuroscience perspective, what happens and why we're seeing meditation utilized so much more as a treatment modality for our mental opportunities, right? So being able to decrease cortisol levels is huge. A lot of us walk around with stress-filled lifestyles. We don't relax. We go from one stressful thing to another. We've normalized it. We've learned how to push through. We don't get enough rest. We don't give our brain, our central nervous system, enough time to relax and just be in a state of rest, right? So it's really that balance between activity and rest. And our bodies are wired with two systems, the sympathetic and the parasympathetics. And so when we meditate, what we see is a growth in gray matter, which is the part of your brain that kind of houses your neurons. We see growth in the hippocampus. We're talking about dementia, and that's one of Allison's favorite part of the brain, the hippocampus.
Yes, it is mine.
Helps with the memory. So we see so many things, and outside of just what we see in the central nervous system, we see other systems that benefit, like decrease in your blood pressure. So if we can look at our body as intertwined by design, as I like to say, and not separate mind from body, and understand that we need to purposely set time aside to relax and restore. I think we live in a society where that is not valued enough. We live in a I'll sleep when I die, just this go-getter kind of mentality where we are truly neglecting ourselves. And so the science is there, the proof is there, research is showing it. They're even suggesting meditation and other health practices for doctors like myself, because we're seeing high rates of burnout from individuals that are constantly dealing with stressful lifestyles. So absolutely, meditation changes, rewires the brain.
And this is Emily. Hi, Emily. Come on in. We didn't welcome you. Welcome. And there's Sister Jenna. She's another Brain Gang member who's a therapist. Do you concur?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, what Dr. Edding said is completely true. I think we're all just kind of, even if we're not overworked by our company, we kind of overwork ourselves because we have this pressure and expectation that we have to, meet certain goals that nobody but us set for ourselves for no reason whatsoever. And it gets really difficult and very tiring, and, but you can't sleep again, because you have to meet these goals and meet these expectations that you've set for yourself. So you do get into this, oh, I don't have time for that. And then you're sleeping for 2 hours and running on fumes and wondering why, you're burned out and not interested in things and getting depressed and all of those types of things.
So there's a connection between the brain, Sister Jenna, the body, the spirit. Is it all interconnected?
That's why the soul needs rest. You drink a glass of water and the water comes out. You eat food and food comes out. But if somebody hurts your feelings, or you're watching a lot of negative things in the news or on television, a lot of people don't know how to get that out. Wow. They don't know how to get out the recording in the soul. So when you can focus on the original nature of the soul being very peaceful, innately, you, the soul, are peace. You are peace, you are love, you are power, you are purity. And then connect that to the generator or the supreme energy of power that will not only sustain you, but increase that power in you. God's energy will increase in you. Then, of course, you're going to basically reset yourself and, show up in the way that you really want to in your quiet moments. Yeah. So in the book, I say everybody meditates. When you've had a rough relationship, or you're going through a very challenging relationship, or when you're looking at where the government is taking the country, or when you look at your friends or a relative that seem to be doing better than you, you're wondering why you're not achieving as much as your brother or your sister, your auntie, whatever are the reasons to make you feel like your life isn't good enough. When you meditate, you move away from all of those limits. You move away from all those limitations. And then between you and God, He's showing you who you will be. And the more you're connected internally to the source of the soul and with God, then you start to see where you should be using your energy. So of course, if the brain starts to feel at peace, and satisfied with the choices that it's making, the brain will start to feel healthier. The chemicals that flow through our system will start to go back in order, and Dr. Gettings would be out of a job. And then she'd come and start to meditate, and then she'd be like, I'm going to do yoga from now on, Sister Jenna.
So the book, everybody, buy this book. I mean, I'm not just saying that because Sister Jenna's my, dog, you know what I'm saying? But buy it because it is important. It is probably, I know you probably just think I'll just be talking, but I'm serious. It's probably
No,
one of the
because
most,
I think it's an okay book. It's nice.
no,
I mean,
it's
I know the publisher going to kill me for saying that. It's a book, but
no, no,
but it's got over 20 of us that are proving to you that
yes.
you can have a mystical experience and do something with it. So it's not just that you have a beautiful experience and you're all happy about that. No. But when you have an experience that is bigger than the life you're living, it will change you. And it will move you towards living more of a fulfilling existence. And that's what I want this book to do for you.
And it is. It did it for me. And I have to keep bragging about it because when I do this show, it was like the first time I told people I had mental illness, everybody's like, oh my God, you? Oh my God. And it normalized the experience that I had to draw them closer to help, right? You have everybody in there. I Googled all them people, the Delmonico people, the Tucci family. Like, these people are like people walking this earth that you will never imagine that they will go into the realm of spiritual divinity, because it's not something you talk about at a bar, at a party, or in your normal day conversation. So to read these stories of their experience that was profoundly magical, it puts a perspective that God is right there. He's right there. So when we look at grief and pain and mental illness and sadness, that there's hope. And they're setting the tone that there's hope. So I'm excited about it. I see Rhonda, just go and get your pre-order on Amazon, please. Because I don't think we can actually get it yet. You have to go on Amazon and pre-order it, right, Sister Jenna?
No, I think you can get it now. Once you order it, it should be coming soon because our launch date
Okay.
is 02/02/2022, and we're having actually a Facebook Live, and we'd love to have you join us and be a part of our launch
So
at
before we
12
get off,
o'clock.
we're going to do some meditation, right? We have
I would love to.
I want to do some meditation. And then after, we want to put up the screen on how to get this book. And then I did want to show that video. I guess I wanted to do a lot of stuff. It was a whole bunch of high hopes. I had a video, I had this, but
Well, we can do a part two. I mean,
we are going to do a part two.
what you are undertaking is not a small thing. And as you grow with this, and I hope that all of your viewers and listeners and supporters will understand that as they travel with you in your growth, and that you've got experts like Dr. Gettings on, you've got beautiful psychotherapists like Dr. Ivey, and you've got Emily and all these people, that if for whatever reason you really feel down on your luck, or just down and you don't have the strength to move forward, or maybe you feel like doing something that might be really regrettable. I mean, just settling into a program like The Brain Truth and just being in tune with seeing which one will talk to your spirit, because everyone in this space says, I've got a mental opportunity and I'm here to rise above it. And I feel that that motive and that intention can really help you. And so wherever you are in life and whatever you're doing, something that has helped me is I really go inside of the soul behind my eyes. I focus on who I am, the original, eternal, immortal, and imperishable being of light. And I connect to Source. And I allow the energy of that Source to come through me in whatever way it can. And I'm patient. And I will accept what I have to go through, but I will not give up that I do want change. And so you invest first from a thought level on how you want to change a situation by not feeding into what's wrong with the situation, but feed into what's going to be right as a result of that situation. And so the more you practice this, consistently on a regular basis at the same time over and over and over again, you will see the light. I want to give a shout out to Dr. Ivey's upcoming album and her app, and this beautiful song that I ask her to sing for me all the time, and I wish she would do that. But the song says, I am light. And I know sometimes with the light, we don't feel emotions. We're not used to feeling power. But when you're connected to the light, you're in a place of power. When you're connected to emotions, you might be draining your battery, just like somebody's phone kept saying, you're connected to iPhone, you're draining or something. It's the same thing.
So are we getting a song and a meditation?
I don't know. If Ivy's into it, I'm okay. I can do the meditation. If Ivy does a little bit of I Am Light, I'm good with that. Then I'll close us off with a meditation.
Okay.
Yes.
I hit the jackpot.
So that's an invitation. Is that what that is? So how about if we do it together, or something? You start off and I'll finish. Or
Okay,
you
all
want
right,
me to
let's go.
start
I'm
and
ready.
then you finish.
Well, let's go. I'm fine. You know, we can go either way. I like to end with the silence, but let's take it on the upbeat. Ready? So everybody sit up straight and take your time as we really focus on what's important to us, and that's life. That's the way I show up, the way I feel, the way I see myself in the mirror. I want to see the energy of light and power through my eyes. I want to walk from one room to another room in the house that I'm living in and spread peace and power in the atmosphere, that my family and friends will walk into that space and inherit that vibration. So in order to create that, let's just begin to practice breaking the attachment to our name, gender, role, title, religion. Just imagine how I would feel if I'm no longer attached to the name everyone calls me, to the gender I see in the mirror every day, to the role, the title, the religion. And what if I just let go of the body? How would I feel? Who would I remember in this state of awareness? It would be God, the Supreme. So, Ivy, should there be light entering the room and the consciousness of the minds of everyone now?
Be light, be light, be light.
of God moved across the waters, and God said, "Let there be light. Let there be light. Let there be light." May God heal the world. Bless the earth. Bless the earth. Om Shanti.
Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti. Wow.
Do you feel how you're transported into another dimension now? You're at the penthouse level now.
That was beautiful. Dr. Gettings, Emily?
I'm just
Yeah.
thankful and appreciative of the power of meditation. And although I don't meditate as much as I would like to, I definitely understand why it's so valuable and healthy for all of us. And am continuously trying to, every day when I talk to people, get them to understand why it's so valuable in protecting us, protecting our peace, keeping us centered. It's really, really important.
Emily? And
Yeah.
then Dr. Ivy, and then you have the last word or closing words with you, sister.
Yeah. I would definitely like to start meditating more. That was very relaxing, and I know I need to do more of it and incorporate it more, especially in my daily life.
Beautiful. Well, I'll be definitely checking back with all of you to see if you're starting to do your meditation, because it'll save your life. It'll save your mind from getting into muck, but it will save the people that you love around you to rise up as well. Allison
Thank you so
Jordan,
much.
why are you so good? Ivy, aren't you proud of our little Allison Jordan? Has she done amazingly well?
Absolutely.
I don't know. I watch the shows after. Dr. Gettings will tell you. I don't know what happens. They tell me later, like, you said that. You said that. I go, I did. Let me watch it. I just, like I was talking to the other night, I just say, Baba, use me. And then they say, then a 30-second countdown. And
Yeah.
I just want to be present to people's stories in an authentic way. And so
You
that we have
are.
a comfortable space to really discuss
You
things.
are. You are. And every time you do the show, you will see what you were like in your first show, the show today, and in
Yeah.
the 100 shows ahead, you'll also evolve and become even a better version. That's what
Yeah.
life is. It's an experiment, and we become better day by
Well,
day.
I'm honored. I have bubble guts, but I don't anymore. I had it. I was like, oh God, I'm not ready for Sister Jenna. I'm just on the 16th, 17th show. But I'm very, very thankful. I love you so much. Buy the book, put up where you can get this incredible book that I say is incredible. And so you can go to americameditating.org or at themeditationmuseum.org. And it's also available on Amazon right now. Go get it. I see Rhonda, you're going to go get it. Thank you. I needed it. I felt the soul of my light. Meditation heals my heart. Ah, just so beautiful. Yes, thank you. I needed it. I felt the soul of my life. I thank you. Get the book. Go get it. All right, guys. Oh my God. Wasn't that beautiful? Wasn't that just amazing? And then I got an added bonus from Dr. Ivy on a song. Like I feel like I just hit the jackpot. So go get this book. Oh wait, it's on this side. Go get. Oh wait a minute, it's on this side. Wait a minute, why can't I do it? Oh, it's on this side. Go get this book. Go get this book. I don't know my right or my left. Okay. Well, that was amazing wrap up of the show. I told you guys it was going to be amazing. I hope you guys all were involved in the meditation. I want to just say to Sister Jenna, to Brother Santosh, to Sister Antonia, to Sister Gita, to Happy, and to everybody at the Om Shanti Village. Om Shanti, I love you. It's beautiful. I can't wait to come and see you and experience all the things that I see that's going on there. I want to thank Sister Jenna's team. They're just so beautiful and professional and just peaceful. And I just want everybody to just experience what it feels like. So get into Raja yoga or any type of meditation you want to do. Just start to learn how to be peaceful beings and be in tune with the divine. We are in some really uncertain times. Like Sister Jenna had a show called The Next Normal. This is the next normal. The next normal is embodying peace and love. That's the next normal. How about that? How about just tell somebody I love you more than you tell anything else, more than gossiping. Just share love. Okay, please, please, please. All right. Okay, so I want to thank the guests. I want to keep encouraging you guys to support us. We can be reached at thebraintruth.com. Also follow us on Facebook and on Instagram at The Brain Truth Radio and The Brain Truth on Facebook. And next week, I think, what are we doing next week? Oh, next week's show is the State of the Union about the Black community and mental health. And we just talked about that. So we're going to have an incredible panel of guests. I can't wait for you guys to come back, 7:30 Central Standard, right here on thebraintruth.com. I know a few minutes ago, I just got to say it. Sister Jenna, if you're still watching, my sister, Drew Senora from the Atlanta Housewives, she was calling in the middle of the meditation to talk to you. I don't know
Drew.
if you take the call.
Drew, we missed you. Next time.
Next time. I'm sorry, Drew. Sorry. But Drew wanted to tell you that she loved you. She already ordered the book. And so I just wanted to say that it was just ringing and ringing. So I didn't want to stop the meditation, Drew. Love
Drew,
you.
it's time to bring meditation on the Atlanta Housewives
Right.
so that we can elevate everyone there.
Please, they need it. Ooh. So yeah, my Drew, as you know, is a housewife on Atlanta Housewives on Bravo. Give a shout out to that. They'll start rapping in February, and yeah, we want to integrate that. I don't know, it was a episode that was on a spinoff show that did feature meditation, and so I think
good.
we're moving into that.
That's
So
great.
anyway, guys, I'm wrapping it up. Thank you again for another episode of The Brain Truth on the Brain Truth Radio and iHeart Radio station. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on YouTube and wherever you listen to your podcasts. That's another episode. See you guys next week, 7:30 Central Standard. Love you. Om Shanti.
Bye.